Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into an important topic, the top human diseases caused during rainy days. It's the perfect breeding ground for all sorts of nasty bugs and viruses. But don't worry, we're going to equip you with the knowledge to stay healthy and safe. Stay tuned to learn how to protect yourself and your loved ones. The common cold. It might seem like a minor inconvenience, but it can really knock you down for a few days. You know the symptoms, the sniffles, the sore throat, that feeling like you're stuck in a fog. Rainy days make it easier to catch a cold because cold viruses thrive in humid environments. When it rains, the air gets more humid and those tiny virus particles can hang around longer. Plus, we tend to spend more time indoors when it's raining, which means we're in closer contact with other people and their germs. So, what can you do to protect yourself? First and foremost, wash your hands frequently with soap and water. And I mean really wash them. Scrub for at least 20 seconds. If you can't wash your hands, hand sanitizer is a good backup. Avoid touching your face, especially your eyes, nose, and mouth. And if you're feeling under the weather, stay home. Don't spread your germs to others. Okay, let's talk about the flu, or influenza as it's officially known. Unlike the common cold, the flu can be a serious illness, especially for young children, older adults, and people with weakened immune systems. Rainy days might not directly cause the flu, but the shift in weather patterns can create ideal conditions for the flu virus to spread. Plus, rain often leads to people congregating indoors, increasing the chances of virus transmission. The good news is that there's a very effective way to protect yourself from the flu: get vaccinated. In addition to vaccination, the same hygiene practices that protect you from the common cold apply to the flu. Wash your hands frequently, avoid touching your face, and stay home if you're sick. Now let's move on to a disease that's specifically linked to rainy seasons and tropical climates: dengue fever. This mosquito-borne illness can cause a range of symptoms, from mild fever and aches to severe joint pain, bleeding, and even death in some cases. The culprit behind dengue fever is a type of mosquito called Aedes aegypti, which thrives in warm, humid environments and breeds in stagnant water. When it rains a lot, standing water becomes breeding grounds for dengue-carrying mosquitoes. Eliminate potential breeding sites around your home, especially during rainy seasons. Use mosquito repellent, especially when you're outdoors during peak mosquito hours, which are typically dawn and dusk. Chapter 4: Leptospirosis, when rainwater turns risky. Let's talk about a disease you might not be as familiar with: leptospirosis. This bacterial infection is spread through the urine of infected animals, most commonly rats. When it rains heavily, especially in areas with poor sanitation, contaminated water from sewers, gutters, and puddles can spread far and wide, carrying the leptospirosis bacteria with it. Humans can become infected through contact with this contaminated water, typically through cuts or abrasions on the skin, or by accidentally swallowing contaminated water. Leptospirosis can cause a range of symptoms, including fever, headache, muscle aches, and chills. In severe cases, it can lead to kidney damage, meningitis, and even death. Avoid wading or swimming in potentially contaminated water, especially after heavy rains. If you have to work in wet environments, wear protective clothing like boots and gloves. Chapter 5: Malaria, a mosquito's bite, a rainy day threat. Malaria, a word that sends shivers down the spines of many. This life-threatening disease is caused by a parasite that's transmitted through the bite of infected mosquitoes. Mosquitoes need water to breed, and rainwater often creates those ideal breeding grounds, like puddles and containers filled with water. During and after rainy seasons, it's especially important to take precautions against mosquito bites. Use mosquito repellent, sleep under mosquito nets, and wear long sleeves and pants when you're outdoors, especially during dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. If you're traveling to an area where malaria is common, talk to your doctor about anti-malarial medication. Chapter 6: Typhoid Fever, the waterborne enemy. Let's talk about another waterborne illness that can pose a serious threat during rainy seasons: typhoid fever. This bacterial infection is spread through contaminated food and water. Heavy rainfall can overwhelm sewage systems, leading to contaminated water seeping into wells, rivers, and even public water supplies. If you consume this contaminated water or food that's been washed with it, you could contract typhoid fever. The symptoms of typhoid fever can be quite severe, including high fever, headache, abdominal pain, and constipation or diarrhea. In some cases, it can lead to life-threatening complications. The most effective way to prevent typhoid fever is to get vaccinated. Wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water before eating or preparing food, and after using the toilet. Avoid drinking water from potentially contaminated sources, and opt for bottled or boiled water instead. Chapter 7. Fungal Infections. Thriving in the dampness. Let's be honest, nobody likes to talk about fungal infections, but they're a common health concern, especially during rainy seasons. Fungi love warm, moist environments, and our skin, especially when it's damp with sweat or rainwater, can be the perfect breeding ground. One of the most common fungal infections is athlete's foot, which causes itching, burning, and scaling on the feet. Another common one is ringworm, which can appear as a red, itchy, ring-shaped rash on various parts of the body. Keep your skin clean and dry. After showering or getting caught in the rain, dry yourself thoroughly, paying special attention to areas where moisture tends to get trapped, like between the toes and in skin folds. Wear breathable footwear and clothing, especially in humid weather. Avoid sharing personal items like towels, razors, and shoes, as this can spread fungal infections. If you do develop a fungal infection, most are easily treatable with over-the-counter antifungal creams or powders. Chapter 8. Cholera is a serious bacterial infection that's often associated with poor sanitation and contaminated water. It can cause severe diarrhea and dehydration, which can be life-threatening if not treated promptly. During heavy rainfall and flooding, especially in areas with inadequate sanitation systems, contaminated water can easily spread, increasing the risk of cholera outbreaks. The bacteria that cause cholera thrive in warm, humid environments, making rainy seasons particularly challenging. The symptoms of cholera can appear suddenly and progress rapidly. Severe diarrhea, often described as rice water stools, is a hallmark symptom, along with vomiting, muscle cramps, and rapid dehydration. Preventing cholera involves ensuring access to safe drinking water and proper sanitation. Drink only bottled or boiled water, especially if you're in an area with a high risk of cholera. Wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water after using the toilet and before handling food. Chapter 9. Rainy days often bring a sense of relief from the heat, but they can also bring about a surge in respiratory infections. The damp air can trap pollutants and allergens, making it harder for people with respiratory conditions like asthma and allergies to breathe. Moreover, the humid environment provides an ideal breeding ground for bacteria and viruses that cause respiratory infections. These pathogens can spread through the air, especially in crowded indoor spaces, making us more susceptible to colds, the flu, and other respiratory illnesses. People with weakened immune systems, young children, and older adults are particularly vulnerable to these infections. Wash your hands frequently to prevent the spread of germs. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. If you have asthma or allergies, make sure to keep your medication handy and follow your doctor's recommendations. Chapter 10. Gastroenteritis, commonly known as the stomach flu, is an infection that causes inflammation of the stomach and intestines. It's often caused by viruses, bacteria, or parasites that spread through contaminated food and water. Rainy seasons can increase the risk of gastroenteritis outbreaks due to several factors. Heavy rainfall can lead to sewage overflows, contaminating water sources with harmful pathogens. The humid environment also provides favorable conditions for the growth and spread of these pathogens. Symptoms of gastroenteritis typically include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal cramps, and fever. These symptoms can range from mild to severe and can lead to dehydration, especially in young children and older adults. Preventing gastroenteritis involves practicing good hygiene and ensuring food safety. Wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water after using the toilet, changing diapers, and before handling food. Wash fruits and vegetables thoroughly under running water before eating them. Cook food thoroughly to kill any harmful bacteria or parasites. So, there you have it, a closer look at some of the top diseases that can lurk during those rainy days. Remember, a little awareness and some simple precautions can go a long way in protecting your health and the health of your loved ones. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the common cold to more serious illnesses like dengue fever and cholera. The key takeaway is that rain, while often a welcome change, can also bring about certain health risks. By understanding these risks and taking appropriate measures, we can navigate rainy seasons safely and stay healthy year-round. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more health tips and information.